Good morning and welcome back. This is Elle at the Stitching Field, and this is my update for October. Today is November 1st, 2021. I've got a whole pile of things to show you today. So let's get right into it and let's get started. Okay, first I had a couple new starts. I had a couple finishes, which are the same ones. So let's start with that and then we'll move on to the current progress. Okay. First one I did is I finished my granddaughter's ornament. This is Christmas Dachshund, and it's ready to be stuffed. I haven't stuffed it yet. So I just put some fabric on the back and I will stuff that. I give the ornaments to the kids on Thanksgiving, so she'll get that done. Now the next one was for my grandson, and I wanted to do a modification of the Mario sampler by ChocoCocoStitch, I think it is. Let's see here. Yeah, ChocoCocoStitch. So I started it on this green fabric, and I've been holding on to this green fabric, wanting to do something Christmassy, but I didn't really like this. So I scrapped that. I'll pull that out. There's not that much stitching. And I ended up doing it on this. So let's see, I made quite a few changes. This is part of a larger design, and I'll put the picture in here so you can see what it was. So the tree is the same. I haven't made any changes there. Now Mario, I changed Mario. I gave him a green shirt. I made his legs longer because Luigi is a little bit taller and a little more slender than Mario. So I gave him longer legs, and then because I changed his shirt to green, I changed the present from green and white to red and white. And then I did the same thing, and this fabric, I just kind of put it on an angle. The funny thing about this fabric is that these used to be a pair of pajama pants that I've been cutting up and using for fabric that belonged to his father. So in the future he'll have, oh, there's a string on there, he'll have both something from me and something that has from his dad. So the next one is a bookmark that I did for my granddaughter. She currently became obsessed with the Harry Potter books. She always thought that it was just movies, and then she found out there was a series of books, and she just had to read them. So her favorite, whoops. Okay, hope you didn't see that. Her favorite character is Hermoine, and so I made a bookmark for her, and her name is down here. So now what I did is I just simply, I put heat and bond on the back of the first page. I put heat and bond on the back of this, then I attached another piece, and then I just did a simple stitch around the edge. So some of this might fray in time, but if it does, it's no big deal. But for the most part, there's heat and bond all the way to the edges, and then I had trimmed it off. So I'm going to give this to her next time I see her. She's already completed the first book, and she's looking forward to the next one. Okay, the next one is my Daily 100. And I mentioned I wasn't sure. Oh, by the way, the pattern for Hermoine, I can't link to it anymore because the store doesn't exist. So, which is really weird. I just purchased it, and then a couple days later, the store disappeared. Oops, I think I hit the table on that, sorry. All right, so my 100 stitches a day, this is Mini Dia de Muertos, and this is by Alexandra V. Bach. Let me see how many stitches I did here. I thought I wrote it down. Oh, I did. I did 3,723. Now, that I did my 100 a day. There was one day that I finally got out of all the black, and I wanted to do a little of the color, and so I just let myself stitch. So I did just under 300 stitches that day. And now that I'm not doing, let me show it to you while I talk. So here's where it is now. This is the end of the first page, so I'm just filling in the first page. So this is by Alexandra V. Bach, and it's on Heaven and Earth Designs. What was I saying? Oh, when I was over here in solid black, I did 100 stitches, so I did my block of 10 by 10. once I got into the different colors and I wasn't doing a solid block, I wasn't sure how I was going to do that. I have this in Pattern Keeper, and the easiest thing for me is just finish all the stitches in that block, and if I haven't reached 100, move on to the next one. I don't like to end in the middle of a block, so I'll finish that block, mark it off. If I've reached 100 or gone over 100, then I quit. So, oops, there it is. So that's where that is. I think it's coming around pretty good. Oh, and then I had, you probably saw the title of this. I keep hitting the table today. Let's see if I can quit doing that. I had a huge mess up, and it was on my grandson's Afghan. Now this fabric, this fabric is really ridiculous. So I don't know if you can see how it kind of gets real fuzzy. You see some down here, it's real fuzzy. The whole front of it is like that. So you can't frog anything. And I've been very careful all the way through this, that I made sure that I counted and triple counted, and so I didn't make any mistakes, because I found out real quickly that you could not get your thread back out. You would catch those threads on the top, and you couldn't separate them from your thread. So I was working on a pirate, and you can see I started with the feet, worked my way up, got the arm in, worked down, came over here, did his beard, put in the eye, was doing the hat, and I thought, wait a minute, oh no. Well, what happened was I found the center of the fabric, but by the time I started it, I somehow didn't center the design. So the hat was going to continue and go into the next block. I was frustrated. I was so frustrated. So I put it down. I kept picking it up every couple of days and looking at it, trying to figure out, what am I going to do? There's no way to get this many stitches out and start over. After several days, well, it was about 2 weeks that I just would sit and fret about this. I finally decided I'm done. I'm going to cut it up, and then I'll use these as blocks. And I think these are 5x5 or 6x6. And I will alternate this with fabric, and I will just quilt it in. So this is now finished. And let me show you what I have here. I think this is the corn pult. Now what I did is I put fusible interfacing on the back, and I still need to trim this down. And why I did that was this frays really easily. And so I don't want it fraying once I've quilted it. So by putting this all the way to the edge and then trimming the fabric down, there should be less chance of it fraying and coming apart, because I want this to last. So this is the corn pult, I think his name is. All right, this is it's the lady zombie. I'm not sure she has an actual name. This is boomerang plant. Now, this is, well, I can't, a snapdragon, I think. I know most of them. This is spring. This is businessman zombie. This is the jester zombie. And I don't remember the exact name of this one. My grandson calls this the fart bean. So, fart bean. When a zombie eats, if you haven't played the game, when a zombie eats this, it gives him gas, and his gas is so noxious that anything behind him dies. So he calls this the fart bean. Okay, this is the Ice Age zombie. This one is the mermaid zombie. This is fume shroom. This is the fire pea shooter. This is Dr. Zomboss. This is my favorite to use in the game. If I need to beat, like they have challenges, and you compete against other players, supposedly. And so this one I enjoy using because I can usually win those. This is Bonk Choi. This is the Sunflower. This is the Sun Shroom. This is the Ice Pea Shooter. Now, most of these I've charted myself. The ones I didn't, I purchased from an Etsy store called Lab Pattern, LABPATTERN. I'll link that, or I'll put it below. This is Fat Beat, which is PHAT. This is the Ice Watermelon Pult. This is Endorian. This is the Imp Zombie. He's a little tiny guy. This is the Mummy Zombie. This is the Potato Bomb. This is the Headless Businessman. This is the Pea Shooter. These are the Cherry Bombs. This is the Excavator Zombie. And you can't call him a Digger Zombie. This is the Excavator Zombie. And that's the end of his quilt. So now I just have to quilt it and we'll be done with that. So I'm disappointed, but I think he's still gonna love it and I think he's gonna be excited to get it. So, all right, so then I moved on to whips. I picked up several, I picked up several. So the first one is You Can Leave Your Hat On, and this is by Santara, and I did 1,178 stitches. So that's where that is. So this is on, first of all of my full coverage pieces, unless specified, are on Zweigart fabric. So this is an 18 count white. All right, the next one I pulled out is the Dragonfly. This is a free pattern, and you can see down here, I have these colors here. I had them over here, and as I put it in, I just didn't like it. So, and you can see I did up here and here. I also had this wing, part of this wing in. So what I've done is I've removed all that, and I'm going with just one color. So the color I'm using, and I don't have the name for it, it's a Cottage Garden Threads. So I hate frogging, but so this is almost out. This was one of the first pieces that I decided to experiment with over-dyed threads. And I hear a lot of other people talk about using all their over-dyed threads and that's all they use in a design. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do 3, 4, 5, whatever. I'm just gonna mix it up and I'm gonna give this a shot. And I hated it. So I used one for the body, and now I'm using one for the wings. And now that I've made a decision about this, and I like how it's going, now I'll pull it out more often and get it finished. Okay, so that was that. The next one I pulled out was Luigi's Mansion, and I don't have this in Pattern Keeper. This is one that I charted myself, and I'm doing this on 25 count. This is that easy guide, or easy count, whatever it is. I was doing this 1/2 full crosses. And then I realized just how big this is, and I want to give this to my grandson sometime soon. So I've decided to convert this, and that's why I pulled this out, and do 2/1 10th stitch. And I'm gonna bring it in closer. I don't think you can see the difference. Now what I did is, well, I started filling in, well, you can see the blue here. So wherever you see the blue is what I've done. And I can't, even looking closely, I can't tell that I'm doing tent. So I'm going to keep doing tent. It will work up a lot quicker. So I'm still working on that page. Now the next one is one of my real big ones and one of my favorites. So this is Nerthus. This is by Unconventional Stitch, and the original artwork is done by Majewski. It's Majewski. I did 3,256 stitches on this. And let's see if I can, there we go. Okay, so there we go. So you see, I finally finished the nest, and that part, so that entire row of pages is done. And now I'm coming down and finishing the next row of pages and the final row of pages. So I'm going to work these two together because they fit in my hoop easily. And there we go. So I still have over 20,000 stitches to do, and I'll discuss more of that in my plans. Okay, and the next one is Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray was my focus piece for this month, and let me find where I put my, okay, Stevie Ray is by Wendy Kathleen. I did 12,369 stitches. I'm at 86.62%, and I only have 11,614 stitches left. So this is the first half. So you see I came down here and I started filling in around where the neck of the guitar and the headstock. And then I came over here. This is where you're gonna see the, well, I'm just gonna fold it so I'll show you the whole thing in a minute. And so here is Stevie Ray. So you see I finished the entire top, finished his hat, his hair, started putting some more work into his strap, the top of his jacket or shirt, and then I came down and you can see I have his arm, and then I've started putting in the guitar. So this is, let me see if I can show the whole thing. Okay, I don't know what you can see, but that is Stevie Ray. And I'm going to put a picture in so you can see. Oh, don't mind the thread. So here is the full piece. Okay, and finally, last night I picked up Alice in Snow White by Jasmine, Beckett, Griffith, and I only did about 50 stitches, but I'm just going to show you where that is. So that's where that is, and I just put in some stitches up here, and then did that section right there because I still had that color on my needle. So we're getting, let's see, we're moving into the second page. The first page is done, and this column here is page 2. So that's where that is. Okay, so now I've been busy kitting up. I have lots of new starts to do in January, so I'm trying to finish some of these things up. So my plans, first one is Stevie Ray. Now I did 12,000 stitches because there was a challenge in Full Coverage Fanatics, and that's how many stitches I needed to do, and I thought, I wonder if I can do that. I did it. There's another challenge this month, and so I'm going to use Stevie Ray, and when I finish those 11,000 stitches for the challenge, I will be done. And I will be able to call this finished. So this is extremely easy. Now this is also a Heaven Earth design, but if you are concerned about confetti and you don't want to stitch a Heaven and Earth, this does not have confetti. There are some color changes, but there's huge blocks of color. I mean, huge blocks of color. And then even when you do have color changes, they're not bad. Okay, so the other thing that I want to work on would be Nerthus. I'm not going to push for this to get done. I'm going to bring it in because I love working on it. And I'll just see how much I can get accomplished. So that will be the next one that I work on. And I'll be busy quilting, my grandson's blanket. I've got, one of my other hobbies is I restore furniture, and I've got furniture here that has to be finished. I also did that this month. I have some new pieces that I completed. So after that, I will also continue my 100 stitches a day. Where'd that go? Just so you can see where that is. So I'll continue my 100 stitches. Now I started this September 16th, which is my granddaughter's birthday. And this is for her. I was missing her, so I pulled this out and started. It's a piece that she saw and she just went nuts. She loved it. So I'll pull this out and do my 100 stitches a day. I'm doing pretty well with that. So I'm going to continue to, to think that 100 stitches a day, and I almost have a completed page. I have a Nerf page after just like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So those are my plans. Tomorrow I'm going to do a whip parade. So what I'm going to do is just unpack all this up, and then I'll reset up and I'll film today, but I'll upload it tomorrow. So in that, I will show you everything I have. I mean, everything, which for me is a lot. I have, let's see here. I have 4 UFOs, and I'll talk to you about that. I have 15 whips left. Now I finished quite a few, and every time I finished one, I allowed myself to have one more start. So that's how I've kind of kept. I think I had 21 when I started last year, and now I'm down to 15. So that's not too bad considering all the big pieces I've done. So that's my plan for now. Now it's my Flosstuber of the month. Oh, excuse me. And that is Elise from eCrafting in Colorado. And I'm going to put a couple pictures of stuff she does so that you can see and you can go visit her. She's doing the Birds in Bloom, which is Amy Stewart, I believe, on Heaven and Earth. She's got some Dimensions projects and some other little kits she's doing. Well, I shouldn't say little, they're good sized. So she's got a variety. She doesn't just do full coverage, but she doesn't just do little things. So that's it for today. I hope you have a great month. I hope you come back next month. I hope I'll see you tomorrow. All right, and that's it. Take care. Goodbye.